3 women had been murdered in just over 60 days time period.
But it looked like a female, and it looked like she was laying there naked.
Gunshot wound to the face, shot in the head, shot in the head.
We did have a serial killer.
Serial murderers kill because they like to kill, and it's something they do, and it's just innate in them.
This person that we're looking for is a clean-cut person.
So they're preying on women that are from a lower rung of society. Some people may consider disposable.
So they focused on the prostitution community, and any John they could stop, they were swabbing him for DNA.
We had a good DNA profile, we just didn't know who he was.
There had been big stories about serial killers being found and located with the use of genetic genealogy. Investigators here decided, no reason we can't. We can do it too.
One of their undercover units was able to pick up a discarded beer can and a cigarette, and the next day we had a conclusive match. 14 years later, but I was pretty sure we had our guy.
This is an individual who plotted and plotted, and he preyed on these 3 women. And you will come back with a verdict for death. Thank you.
Where's your emergency?
I was at the corner of Williamson and Mason, and there's somebody laying there in the woods to the south, right where you pull in at.
Dirt road.
I wasn't sure, but it looked like a female, and it looked like she was laying there naked. I didn't touch anything. I turned around and got the hell out of Dodge.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thanks. Let us know. We'll get someone out there to check it out.
When police got there, they discovered the body of Awana Patton.
My aunt didn't have any enemies. There was no one after her. It just did not make sense at the time.
Awana Patton was recovered on a walking path in a wooded area. My name is Andrew Urbanik. I'm an assistant state attorney in the Homicide Investigations Unit. She was found nude, gunshot wound to the face. The forensic evidence was a recovered .40 caliber American Eagle ammunition, and also the sexual assault kit was conducted on Miss Patton as well. DNA was recovered from her vaginal swabs.
It was the 3rd such body to be found in 3 months in deserted areas of Daytona Beach.
There was certainly a sense of fear in this community at that time because you had 1 homicide per month for 3 months.
The first victim had been found the day after Christmas, Laquetta Gunther, who had a history of prostitution arrests.
She was known as an energetic, happy person, just engaged in a high-risk lifestyle. She was found in a small alleyway, an alleyway that was so small that a grown man really couldn't walk down it. She had been murdered in a similar fashion, shot in the head. She is found stripped and alone and dead. They found in a piece of her clothing the bullet, or a bullet, that was used to shoot her. They did a sexual assault kit where they collect DNA samples from various parts of a victim's body.
And then in mid-January, the body of Julie Green was found in a construction area.
Julie Green came from a good family as well, but she had come across some tough times. She was engaging in prostitution and drug use. She was found nude. She was found face down. She had been murdered in a similar fashion, shot in the head.
Obviously, at this point, we had a serial murderer on the loose in Daytona who was targeting people with prostitution in their background or prostitutes. My name is Jason Lewis, Chief of Homicide, State Attorney's Office, 7th Judicial Circuit. So they're all shot in the head area, and all of them just left out there in the open to be found by somebody.
Florida Department of Investigation released that they are officially calling the Daytona murders linked and the work of a serial killer.
This person that we're looking for is a clean-cut person. This person that we're looking for is somebody who's probably got a good job. He was somebody that you'll never suspect.
But to, open up the local newspaper and to see that, Daytona Beach was actively pursuing a serial killer kind of just hits a little bit too close to home. My name is Lieutenant David Dinardi with the Daytona Beach Police Department. Each of the victims was found naked. They were face down, and that the only thing that they were wearing was socks.
With two of the victims, Iwana Patton and Laquetta Gunther, there was a DNA match for the killer.
The person who the DNA belonged to had never been arrested. We had a good DNA profile, we just didn't know who he was.
And for two of the victims, Julie Green and Iwana Patton, the bullets had come from the same gun.
The gun that we knew that we were looking for was a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber, and the model was VE. The investigators at the time, they went around to local gun shops in Daytona Beach and started compiling a list of people who had purchased that weapon.
And a crime analyst provided a profile of the killer.
The key points of the profile was that we're looking for a white male, somewhere between mid to late 20s to early 40s, was thought to be in a relationship with a female, but then also had anger or temper.
Daytona Beach is known for its spring break gatherings and an annual race week.
But when that's not happening, it is still a quiet, sleepy beach town at times.
With a lesser-known area of homelessness and prostitution.
Ministers have been walking the streets warning about a person stalking women.
They're preying on women that are from a lower rung of society, but because of their lifestyle or because of a drug problem, some people may consider disposable.
So they focused on the prostitution community, tried to make arrests and stops in the prostitution community, particularly the Johns, men that were engaging in prostitution. And any John they could stop, they were swabbing him for DNA. They sent hundreds of DNA samples over the next couple of years to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for comparison. For a while, it was a rumor that it was a law enforcement officer. For a while, it was a rumor that it was this doctor who was looked into. But none of those leads ended up getting to anything solid.
A tire track at one of the murder scenes led to the owner of a nearby junkyard.
They have a serial killer in the family, is in prison. We got his DNA compared to the, to the known sample that we had, and it was not a match. So, he's got definitely some skeletons in his closet, but he was not the person we were looking for. Ultimately, the task force was disbanded sometime in probably 2008 without the case, being solved.
This case was cold.
It was very frustrating. I thought that they would never find her murderer.
Iwana Patton's niece wondered if the women's suspected backgrounds made the case less urgent.
I did think the word prostitute definitely denigrated and blackened the case for sure.
And Iwana's family knew her to be a nursing home caregiver, not a prostitute.
My aunt was not a sex worker. She had her own apartment. She worked several jobs. She took care of people, and she was a great woman. She was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and she linked up with the wrong person. We just kind of moved on with our lives, and the fact of understanding that we wouldn't have full closure as a family.
But 10 years later, the killer struck again.
Another victim turned up, but not in Daytona Beach. A victim turned up in the West Palm Beach area. A woman was found nude, face down, murdered, strangled to death. DNA was sent to the laboratory. Detectives were told, we have a match.
Serial murderers kill because they like to kill, and it's something they do.
Jeffrey Dahmer confessed to 17 murders. Ted Bundy confessed to 30. John Wayne Gacy convicted of 33 murders.
And it's just innate in them. Who knows why someone all of a sudden flips the switch on again, but ultimately our serial killer, he did.
The victim in West Palm Beach was Rachel Bay, who had worked as a prostitute.
Her body was found once again naked. She was face down. She was actually strangled in that case, so it was a little bit different.
But what was the same was the male DNA found on the victims.
And that was like a gold mine to be able to figure that out and start piecing things together.
It breathed life back into our case. It gave us hope that even after, 10 or 11 years, we'd be able to, make an arrest.
But even though there was a DNA match, the identity of the killer remained a mystery.
It was still unknown, and there was still nobody in the DNA database, even though it had been expanded, a lot since 2006 to take in every felony arrest. But nothing had hit at that point.
Police brought in Rachel Bay's boyfriend, Jose Gonzalez.
Okay. So you want to help because this is a person that you cared about?
Yes.
And who are we talking about?
Rachel.
Okay.
I call her Ray Ray.
You know her by Ray Ray. She works the street, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So each time she left, was she seeing clients?
Yeah. Well, she said she was going to meet someone.
Okay.
She said she had a date.
Okay.
Exactly where it says, I'll be back, I have a date.
Okay. So do you have any opinion on the race of the person that called?
He was black.
That didn't fit the profile of a white male that detectives had been relying on.
She said it was she knows the person, it's one of her regular clients.
All right, so let me ask you this. You've had a relationship with her before. I'd like to ask if you would consent to giving us mouth samples for DNA comparison.
Okay.
His DNA was not a match.
It was in 2017. We contracted with a private lab called Parabon, and we sent them our DNA. And they couldn't give us a name of who we were looking for, but they did tell us for the first time that we were looking for a black male.
And detectives now realize the profile had led them down the wrong road for years.
And I think that created a belief within the investigators' minds that we're looking for a middle-aged white male. We're not looking for a younger person. We're not looking for anybody from a different ethnicity. We're focusing on white males. There had been big stories about serial killers being found and located with the use of genetic genealogy.
The best known was the so-called Golden State serial killer, who had gone undetected for more than 50 years until genetic genealogy tracked him down.
The answer was, and always was going to be, in the DNA.
Investigators here in Daytona and down in Palm Beach County decided, no reason we can't. We can do it too.
So genetic genealogy is only used to identify violent criminals or unidentified human remains.
C.C. Moore is one of the pioneers in the new world of genetic genealogy.
This case, it was the first time I worked on a serial case or a known serial offender case. It's a very powerful tool, but it relies on public participation and support.
What's involved is essentially building a family tree using DNA submitted to various commercial ancestry sites. It took more than a year till they found a possible family connection.
Law enforcement goes out and asks family members of that top match if they are willing to provide their DNA to help solve this case. And one of those people who agreed to help turned out to be the half-sibling of the suspect. So then it was in Detective Donardi's lab.
We found out that she had three half-brothers, all of them living in Florida. Palm Beach County took the lead. They recovered DNA from the first two half-brothers first. Both of those were ruled out.
They then focused on the third half-brother, following him to a bus stop in West Palm Beach.
One of their undercover units was able to pick up a discarded beer can and a cigarette that he had been drinking and smoking while waiting for the bus. They were able to collect those items, sent them to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the next day we had a conclusive match. 14 years later, but I was pretty sure we had our guy.
His name was Robert Hayes.
Mr. Hayes? Yes, sir. James Evans. You know, sir, why am I here, sir?
They brought him to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. I remember seeing him that day, you know, in the interview room.
Just by your body language and by things that you've said to me thus far, I'm sure you're concerned about what's going on, and you may have a lot of questions about why you're here, what's going on. Am I correct thus far?
But detectives knew the DNA match would only go so far. He may have been a customer of the prostitutes, but it did not necessarily prove he killed them. They needed a confession.
Okay, we're just going to come out and let you know exactly what's going on and why you're here. Do you understand? Yes, sir.
Detectives from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office had the first crack at Robert Hayes.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Hayes. This female here, okay, her name is Rachel Bay. Are you familiar with this female? No, sir. Rachel Bay, have you ever seen her, met her before in your life? No, sir. You've never had any communication, encounter, or any type of interaction with her in your life?
Not to my knowledge, not to my knowledge.
When you say not to your knowledge, you know, that's a somewhat ambiguous statement. What exactly do you mean when you say not to my knowledge?
I don't know her, sir.
You don't know her?
No, sir.
So you don't know her, so I'm assuming you saying you don't know her, that means you've never had any type of romantic relationship with her at all?
No, sir, I don't know her, sir.
Have you ever had sex with her?
I don't know her, so I can't tell you if I had sex with her. I don't know her. I don't know who this woman is.
Rachel Bay was killed on March 7th, 2016. She was killed on March 7th of 2016.
How about a hookup? You said you've been with your fiance for a few years?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever stray a little bit? Maybe, you know, look to see if you can get some variety in your romantic life? It has?
Yes.
Okay.
How many partners, how many encounters would you say you've had with females that you've met via Backpage or some other social media site?
Probably at least 50.
At least 50?
Yes, sir.
And what about when you were in Daytona?
No, sir. I don't remember a lot of them, sir. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. When you say you don't remember a lot of them, what does that mean?
That means I went in, I did what I did, and I left.
Okay. Would you typically use condoms with them?
Yes.
Did you have a preference for black women or white women, or you didn't care, or what?
Well, whatever caught my eye at the time.
Any kind of violence or anything?
No,
or
sir.
Girl said you didn't pay me enough money or anything else like that?
You said to be honest, I'll be honest.
Sir.
Yes.
Normally when I was calling Backpage, I was either extremely drunk or on something.
Detectives discovered that Hayes attended college in Daytona Beach at the time of the 3 murders there.
He participated in cheerleading at the university and ended up graduating Bethune-Cookman with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
And he was actually questioned at the time as one of the people who bought a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber pistol at Buck's gun rack.
They asked him, do you have the gun? Mr. Hayes told them, no, I do not have the gun. I gifted it to my mother this year. And that kind of ended the investigation of Mr. Hayes.
Hayes did not fit the profile of a middle-aged white male.
And I think Mr. Hayes got lost in the volume of the case.
In the 10 years between the crimes, Hayes had led a quiet life and was the father of 2 children.
Have you looked at this picture real good, Mr. Hayes?
Sir, I don't know this woman.
You don't know this woman?
No, sir.
She advertised via Backpage. And to be quite frank with you, sir, we have irrefutable scientific evidence that establishes that you know her. Not only did you know her, you had sex with her, Mr. Hayes.
I said, sir, I don't know this woman, sir.
All right. We have your profile. Robert Tyrone Hayes. You say you've never met Rachel Bay? You said you've never had an encounter with Rachel Bay?
I don't know this woman, sir.
We have your DNA, semen, inside of her vagina.
That's impossible. I don't know this woman.
I saw someone who was scared, and someone who, had got away with something for so long, and it was slowly dawning on him that he didn't get away with it.
I don't have anything to do with this.
You don't?
No, sir. I don't have anything to do with this.
Whatsoever?
No, sir. I don't hurt people, man. I go to work and I come home.
You said something just now that captivated me. Remember you said I didn't do nothing to anybody? You just said that, right?
You did.
Why did you say that?
I would not say that.
No, I'm asking you, what led you to say I didn't do nothing to anybody? Because that's an unequivocal statement.
I don't even know why I'm here, and you're bringing me about this woman, and I didn't.
He ended the interview as the detective kept pressing on Rachel Bay.
I like to speak to the lawyer, man. This is good. I don't want to talk to y'all no more. I don't know what the fuck it is y'all trying to pull on me, man, but I want to go home to my family, bro. I need to talk to somebody, man. I don't want to do this no more. I need to talk to somebody.
Okay, and I'll be right with you, okay?
You need anything, Mr. Hayes, you knock on the door.
Bro, I didn't do anything, man. I just want to go home with my family, bro. I don't...
Well, you're not going home to your family, sir. You're under arrest. You're not going home to your family. You're under arrest. And I think you pretty much figured that out.
And then detectives let Hayes talk to his fiancée to see what he would say to her.
I don't know what's going on.
That's what's going on, Robert. You're not coming back. Today is the last day these people say I'll see you.
That's bull, bro. That's bull. I didn't do none of this, bro. I didn't do none of this.
Well, who the saying you did?
I don't know. I didn't do none of this, man.
Oh my God, Robert. I don't even understand what they have on you, Robert. You don't understand. You don't understand. This shit can put you away from life.
I didn't do this, Shawnee. I didn't do this. Okay? I did not do this.
What they say you did, Robert. You're not coming back.
This says murder.
What the did you do?
I didn't do nothing. I'm trying to tell you that I didn't do nothing.
They say you are not the man that I'm thinking you are, man, so you better explain.
I didn't do none of this, Shawnee.
Robert, you better be telling me the... Robert.
Shawnee, I'm telling you I didn't do nothing of this, man.
What the did you do in your past?
Today we've called this press conference because we'd like to announce that we have obtained 3 indictments in the case that's been commonly referred to as the Daytona serial killer case involving Robert Hayes as the defendant. I can tell you that we will be seeking the death penalty.
It's something inside of him pulling him to commit that crime again, and maybe he can fight off the urge for 10 years, but not forever.
We expect opening statements in the Daytona Beach serial killer trial of Robert Hayes. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in this case.
If you had just seen him in court, you would be like, oh, this guy's not a murderer. He's just a regular Joe Schmo. But murderers, and especially serial killers, they're able to hide who they really are and make it through all this time without being caught.
Friends and family of the victim were in the courtroom throughout.
It was hard, but it was justice. And I made sure that I made eye contact to let him know we know you did it and we're not happy about it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And this evidence will show, will prove beyond a reasonable doubt, that back in 2005 and 2006, the defendant in this case, Robert Hayes, killed not 1, not 2, but 3 women here in Volusia County, specifically in the city of Daytona Beach.
Whether it was about sexual proclivity or whether it was about dominance for being sexual or it was just about killing them, he started to enjoy it.
Nothing significant happens for 9 years. And then in 2016, there's a 4th murder, a 4th victim.
Hayes wasn't on trial here for the murder of the fourth victim, Rachel Bay, because that happened in another jurisdiction, West Palm Beach. But prosecutors were able to use the facts of her case.
We could use it to prove identity, motive, common scheme or plan, intent, and the big thing was an absence of accident or mistake. The similarities between Palm Beach County and our three victims was overwhelming. Law enforcement sees this pattern. They see these striking similarities, and they see that not only are the crime scenes similar, how the victims are left is similar, how they die is similar, their lifestyle is similar, but also all the crimes are connected.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear evidence from the defense side that's going to open your mind that there's other possibilities, situations that could have caused the death of each of these ladies.
The defense challenged the importance of the DNA by bringing up the women's backgrounds.
Attacked the fact that they were prostitutes. Just because he had sex with them, with prostitutes, doesn't mean he was the one who killed them.
Your attention is going to be very important to the details. It sounds, when you talk about DNA being located at different crime scenes, how did it get there? When did it get there? How does it correlate with the actual charge that Mr. Hayes caused the death of Miss Cup, caused the death of Miss Green, caused the death of Miss Pat?
The prosecution began with the nuts and bolts of the forensic evidence that Robert Hayes bought a Smith & Wesson pistol of the kind used to kill the women.
And did he actually pick up the firearm?
He put it on layaway on 17 of November 05 and retrieved the firearm, paid the balance due on December the 2nd of 05.
And that the DNA collected from Robert Hayes at the bus stop, the beer and the cigarette butt, matched that from 3 of the crime scenes.
The observed foreign DNA profile is greater than 700 billion times more likely to occur if the sample originated from Robert Tyrone Hayes than from an unrelated individual.
Will you call the next witness for the record?
Florence Hayes.
And then prosecutors called Hayes' mother to testify by Zoom about his claim to police he had given the murder weapon to her before the killings.
And ma'am, at any time when Mr. Hayes was in college, did he ever give you a firearm as a gift?
No.
Did he ever in his entire life give you a firearm as a gift?
No.
Of course, no parent wants to testify against their child, but she was a stand-up individual who just came up there, told the truth.
Just one more question, Ms. Hayes. You understand that this is your son's trial, right?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I have no further questions.
His own mother was calling him a liar.
My name is Jose Gonzalez.
Did you know Rachel Bay, sir?
Yes, I did.
Did you know Miss Bay at all to participate in prostitution?
Yes, she was.
When we say sex workers or prostitute, maybe their life just may not be that important, or maybe that, they deserved it.
But for prosecutors, it helped to explain the biggest problem with their case.
The only weakness that we had a concern about was in Julie Green's case. There was DNA found of somebody who was not Mr. Hayes in her vaginal area. So obviously that's a concern because that could point to another suspect.
A point Hayes' defense lawyer made repeatedly as he cross-examined the state's experts.
The bottom line question is maybe you're just giving the answer. You did find a male contributor, however, that male contributor Mr. Hayes was excluded as that male contributor. Is that correct?
That's correct. Mr. Hayes was excluded to the mixture.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I have no other questions.
And we knew the best counter-argument we had was, well, she's a prostitute. It means she had sex with somebody else. And to steer the jury back towards the ballistic evidence. So we could say, even though his DNA wasn't there, the same gun that killed Julie Green killed Awana Patton.
Could you please state your entire name and spell your last name for the court reporter?
Yes, good morning to the jury. My name is James Keithan Evans. Spelling of my last name is E-V-A-N-S.
And Mr. Evans, where are you employed, sir?
I'm employed with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office.
And did you end up participating in an interview with Mr. Hayes on September 15th of 2019?
Yes.
The prosecution played the entire interrogation of Hayes conducted by Detective Evans about Rachel Bay.
This female here, okay? Her name is Rachel Bay. Are you familiar with this female?
No, sir.
Have you ever had sex with her?
I don't know her.
Okay.
I don't know her, so I can't tell you if I had sex with her. I don't know her. I don't know who this woman is.
That can be a fantastic piece of evidence. He's lying. He is lying to law enforcement, and the reason he's lying is because he's guilty, because he did it.
Mr. Hayes, it sounds to me like the case is coming to a conclusion, and this is the time that you'll have the opportunity to, you have to make a decision whether or not you'd like to testify or you don't want to testify.
You know, if I was a betting man, I thought he was going to testify.
Did you have an opportunity to talk with your lawyers about whether or not you'd like to testify or not testify?
I have discussed with him, and we decided that I will not testify.
Okay. Oh, you say we.
I have decided.
Thank you. All right, very well. So is it your intent now, Mr. Shea, to rest?
It is, Your Honor.
Acquitted Gunther on December 26th, Julie Green on January 14th, and then Awana Patton on February 20th. 3 months, three dead women. These women were easy targets for Mr. Hayes. They were all in close proximity to where Mr. Hayes lived. You can't hide your genetic fingerprint, ladies and gentlemen. And then in March of 2016, he left his genetic fingerprint again. He left it on Rachel Bay. And he denies knowing. Over and over, he denies knowing Miss Bay. So I ask you to consider that as well. And again, it's the lie, but why is he lying? Why is he lying to the police? And again, common sense says one reason and one reason alone. Because he knows exactly why his DNA is there. He knows exactly why he's not giving out his phone number, the right number. He's a criminal justice major. He understands how the criminal justice system works. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence in this case is clear. It's supported by science. It's supported by fact. And because the evidence is supported by fact and it's supported by science, I would ask that you return the verdict that evidence supports. And that's finding Mr. Hayes guilty as charged in the indictment of murdering Julie Green in January, Awana Patton in February, and Miss Gunther in December. Thank you.
As we all understand, this is a case of 3 separate and distinct homicides that occurred back in 2005 and 2006.
Hayes' lawyer reminded the jury that Hayes' DNA was not found on Julie Green.
I submit to you that the state has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt that it was Mr. Hayes who created or caused an act that killed or took the life of Miss Green.
And he argued the fact that Hayes' DNA was found on the other victims does not prove he killed them.
We have no definitive time as to when the sexual encounter took place. So we have virtually no connection between the actual homicide and the DNA To reach these conclusions, you would have to speculate. And speculation is not part of the burden that the state has. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt all of those facts. So I'm telling you that the facts in this case speak for themselves. I'm asking you to reach the conclusion that the state has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt counts 1, count 2, and count 3.
We knew when we walked out of the courtroom after closing, if the jury has an issue, it's going to be Julie Green. If they take their time or anything comes back not as charged, it's going to have to do with the Julie Green crime.
The case of accused serial killer Robert Hayes is now in the hands of the jury. If convicted in this case, Hayes faces the death penalty.
I have been informed that there is a verdict.
They were out for like 9 hours, which was a complete shock.
Madam Clerk, will you publish the verdict? The defendant, please rise, face the jury, and hearken to the verdict.
Verdict, count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant, Robert Tyrone Hayes, as follows. Count 1, first-degree premeditated murder of Laquita Gunther.
She was the first victim.
Guilty of first-degree murder. Count 2, first-degree premeditated murder of Julie Green.
She was the only victim where Hayes' DNA was not found.
Guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. Verdict, count 3. First-degree premeditated murder of Iwana Patton.
She had just finished a double shift as a nursing home caregiver.
Guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
Emotionless. No response that I saw from watching him in the courtroom. I think he knew he did it and had already accepted the fact that it was probably not going to go his way.
This is the phase where you are asked to consider whether or not the death penalty is an appropriate sentence for Mr. Hayes.
This was one of those cases that was the worst of the worst and warranted seeking the death penalty.
You're going to hear evidence that Robert was abused as a child, sexually. You're going to hear that Robert Hayes is not all bad.
And it also entails presenting family members.
Starting with the daughter of Laquita Gunther.
My mother was only 45 when she was taken from us. The what-ifs and what could-have-beens either keep me up at night or haunt my dreams. My mom mattered.
Julie Green's sister was next.
Yes, Julie did have a high-risk lifestyle, but no matter what lifestyle she lived, she did not deserve to be murdered.
Iwana Patton's niece spoke for their family.
It was hard, but it was justice. And this is who my aunt was, and this is what you did to our family.
My aunt was the most selfless, loyal, caring, and compassionate woman you could ever meet. She treated everyone like family. She was taken from us far too soon.
It was some portion of closure for me to see that through for her, because she was not able to when he took her life on that night.
For the defense, Robert Hayes' sister took the stand.
So, you and Robert, the family, were raised in some rough neighborhoods, weren't you?
Yes, but it's been decades of sexual abuse in our family. There was a lot of alcoholism in my family. There's a lot of violence and aggression in our family.
Hayes became upset after his lawyer showed photos of his 2 children.
Well, Mr. Hayes, if you wish to be excused from the proceedings, I'll allow you to do that. But I noticed that you became very upset, and I don't have any sort of violent reactions in the courtroom.
No, sir. They're not going to be violent reactions. Just very upsetting. I made it very clear that I did not believe in my children.
Okay.
If you were to show any of this, there would be any violence, nothing like that. I'm just very upset at that.
Well, I saw you clench your fist, and that caused me some concern.
I apologize.
Okay. All right.
The defense closed its case with Dr. Joseph Wu, a psychiatrist who has testified for defendants in scores of death penalty cases. He claimed Hayes had undetected autism.
This particular pattern of homicides is very characteristic of autistic spectrum homicides.
Any cross-examination?
So, when you spoke to Mr. Hayes and asked him about the murders, what did he tell you?
I didn't speak to Mr. Hayes.
Wait, you didn't speak to Mr. Hayes?
No.
So you came up with all these opinions without ever talking to Mr. Hayes?
That's correct.
This is an individual who plotted, and he preyed on these three women and then killed them, ladies and gentlemen. And I ask you when you go back there, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a tough decision. It's going to require courage. There will be no question in your mind. And you will come back with a verdict for death. Thank you.
Folks, life in prison without parole is forever. His freedom will be taken from him. Every minute of every day will be controlled and decided by others. It's a tough life. Look, all life is important. All life is valuable, including the three lives that were taken in these homicides. Mr. Hayes is not all bad. There's a good side to him. A good side that I hope I persuaded you makes him one that should go to prison for life without parole ever, rather than being executed.
All 12 jurors had to vote for death. It was a yes or no question.
The jury unanimously find that Robert Tyrone Hayes should be sentenced to death. No.
The jury came back 11-1, that there was one holdout. He got life in prison.
Hayes still faces trial for the murder of Rachel Bay in Palm Beach County, where they are also seeking the death penalty.
I believe an eye for an eye. I'll say that. I'll say that. He's a psychopath. They don't have emotions. They don't have sympathy. There's no remorse. There's no remorse there. And I am grateful and thankful that he will never kill again.